time, my mom faked her death so she didn't have to take care of me and my siblings. Yes, this girl really faked her death. So at the time, I was 5 and my little brother was 3. It started off with my mom saying that she didn't feel well and she couldn't pick me up from school, so the bus would have to take me home. Well, a few months after, she started getting picked up from our house by this black car. She said that car was picking her up because of her so-called doctor's appointments. And she wasn't able to drive herself because she was too sick. Well, one day, when this car came to pick her up, she never came home. Me and my little brother were sitting around for a couple days waiting for her to come home, but she never came home, and we were young, so we didn't do anything. Eventually, my aunt came over to our house and told my little brother and I that our mom had passed away and that she was cremated and they kept the ashes. So our aunt started taking care of us. Until one day I saw my aunt getting picked up by that same black car. That's when I started to get suspicious of everything and I decided to check these ashes. When I checked, it was flour. Like for part 2. This is part 2 of the time my mom faked her death so she didn't have to take care of me and my siblings. Like I said, my aunt told me that my mom had died and they cremated her and they let her keep the ashes and that she was going to start taking care of us. Me not knowing how long the cremating process actually took at the time since I was so young, I believed her. Until one day I saw my aunt getting picked up by the same black car that my mom used to get picked up by before she died. That's when I decided to check these supposed ashes and it was actually flour. So one day when my aunt got picked up by this black car, I decided to follow her. I didn't have a car, I was 5 years old, so I had to follow them by walking and hiding behind bushes. I was able to follow them up the street, and once they turned the corner, and there I saw my mom standing on the side of the street. That's when I see the car stop and I see my aunt get out and approach my mother. She tells my mom to give her money for covering for her and taking care of me and my little brother. My mom says she faked her death because my dad wasn't in our lives and she didn't want to take care of us anymore. I'm older now and I cut her off completely and I have full custody of my little brother.
Me and my friend were hanging out and eating Panda Express in the back of a Walmart parking lot after dark. We were just chilling in the car and we saw this man outside a semi-truck pacing back and forth. He was creepy and she locked her doors, but we just thought he was some weird guy doing nothing. He kept looking around and looking at our car and we made eye contact a few times by accident. We were gonna leave sooner but wanted to see what he was doing. I was looking at him and he reached in his back pocket and pulled out a gun and I yelled to my friend, "Drive away now, he has a gun." We dipped so fast and almost hit another car in the parking lot and I called the cops as she drove away. It was really scary.
You guys, this is why you should always check your food before you eat it. Doesn't matter if it's wrapped, doesn't matter if it's prepackaged, check it. Okay, so I think this happened about a year ago. Me and my sister were visiting a friend's house and we were just waiting to like go somewhere. I think we had just eaten and I was like really in the mood for some dessert. So my friend had like a box of chocolates laying out, kind of like as a centerpiece decoration. And I was like, what's that? She was like, oh, those are some old chocolates. If you want, you can have some. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna say no to some chocolate. Yeah, we don't really eat chocolate, go ahead. Grabbed like 3. Gave one of them to my sister, ate one. They were really good. They were like Godiva chocolate. They were delicious. And my sister thought so too. All is normal in the world. For some reason, when I was unwrapping the second one, I don't remember if I had already taken a bite, and I think I did. It was maggots. I never told her.
So here is a story time about how I found what was hidden in my grandmother's attic. So me and my cousins were all having a sleepover at my grandmother's house. And so my grandmother had this chest that was locked up inside her attic and we all knew about it. We knew where the key was but she wouldn't let us go inside the attic. So this one night when my grandmother was sleeping we all had this plan to get the key and go inside the attic and find out what was in that chest. So when our grandmother was sleeping in her bed we snuck in her room and got the key that was in her closet. And since my cousins didn't want to go inside the attic because they were all scared, they forced me to go first and open the chest. So when I went in the attic and saw the chest, I unlocked it and I opened it and I had saw a skeleton in the chest.
Here's a story time from about, I think, 1st grade. So my school playground had like a playground and then it had like a big field around it. And it was all gated off and it had trees all surrounding it with like neighborhoods behind. Anyways, I had a best friend named, let's call her Maddie. And then I had another really good friend, and she was 1 grade higher than me, and she had 2 twin best friends. So anyways, they supposedly saw Chucky in the woods, and they would not stop talking about it. And like, I was in 1st grade, like, of course I was gonna get scared. Like, what else would a 1st grader do? So I got really scared and went to go tell my best friend, Maddie. And she got really freaked out too and told on me. I got sent to the dean because I was scared. My mom nearly threw me out of the car. Like, I don't know.
So I am going to be talking about how me and my friends almost got kidnapped. So me and my homies were walking home from school and talking about how mean our history teacher was until we saw this van driving slowly towards us and we were all confused, so we started walking a bit faster, but the van had caught up to us. And there was this creepy dude inside the van and he kept asking us these weird questions and we felt really uncomfortable. So after a while of us talking to the man in the van, I ended up running away as fast as I could, and soon my homies started running with me and the van was chasing us and we were out of breath and scared for our lives. But luckily we saw my neighbor and we ran inside the neighbor's house. So my neighbor was really confused, but when we told him what was happening he was very understanding and made sure we got home safe.